All right, this will be the shortest podcast ever in the history of finance junkies. No one showed up to work today.
Are you saying we can't keep a conversation going for an hour? Is this what you're saying?
I did. It depends. Are we talking about cheesecake? Oh, look at this.
Yeah, I'm tired, just like you said. Oh boy. Okay, we're gonna hear about banks. Never mind.
First, I'll never get this about this guy. I'll never get.
It's called a joke. It's called a joke, dude. All right. TFC. Anyway, we're all here. So what are we talking about?
Talking about TFC, baby. To the moon.
Sure, go ahead.
We're talking about banks. That's what we're fucking talking about.
No, we're not going to talk about banks today. We are going to talk about fucking Google, dude. I know that this has now actually become really a big mainstream issue, and now it's actually bleeding over into the investment world because, we'd want to think that investing is above politics, it's above culture and everything else, but you have to remember these are consumer-facing companies. Whenever you have a consumer-facing company and you make a giant mishap, it's going to affect your business, whether that means that the valuation gets affected, whether the investors are impacted by this, or whether it's just a general consumer saying, you know what, I don't want to associate myself with a platform that basically excludes me, And so I do have to say that other companies in the Silicon Valley area, they're also woke too, and Google is being sort of highlighted way more than some of their issues. But I think the reason why is because Google has such a large platform. They are on the vanguard of basically information. So this is why they're getting criticized way more. And I don't know what to say, but for me, I had to take a second look at everything that I believed in. And I agree with VITALY. It doesn't happen very often, but I agree with him now that Sundar Pichai may not be the right person because I can understand a couple of mishaps here and there. Dude, totally understand. But this one was two things in one, where on one hand, you have to ask yourself, is Google getting so desperate that they're just rushing products out the door without testing it fully? Or two, did they test it and did no one actually stand up to it saying, hey, this is a problem, because if this wasn't something that was like discovered in the code 5, maybe 6 months later, this was like 2 seconds and people were like, wait a second, there's something wrong here, So it just goes to show
but
that
what if the other guys do the same thing? Why does it really matter at that point?
I mean, I haven't noticed it to the same degree. I've searched for things. I've looked on multiple things and I didn't notice it. So
ChatGPT doesn't give you images right now. You have to go through their other service, which is a paid for service.
I've been using what is that thing called Midjourney here and there, and Midjourney never generated shit like this. I mean, unless you guys have a different experience.
I thought Midjourney you have to pay for, but can you bring it up and actually run a test right now?
No, I've used Midjourney before. No, Chris is right. You can type in whatever you want. Because you pay for it, I think they're better at giving you the exact results, and they're not Google programmed. But does that mean we sell? I mean, does that mean people should consider thinking about because the PE is ridiculous on Google compared to Microsoft? I kind of feel like this woke thing is going to eventually wear off. It's like we're hot about it right now, but it's not going to be the biggest deal.
I know we're blaming the woke thing. You're saying that, but it's really Sundar Pichai. You always have to end at the CEO. He determines how the culture stays. So yeah, if he has a hand up his ass being controlled by the board or whatever, but then he's not the right guy anyway because he can't fight them. He shouldn't be in charge. So he has to go. I don't know how else to put it. If I had enough votes,
for a couple months now, yeah.
If I had enough votes, I would vote his ass out. He's just
dude. It's so funny. Leader. You said he had to go 5 months ago, and me and Chris were like, nah. Then I listened to the earnings call a month ago, and I was like, fuck, this guy's got to go. Chris was still like, nah. Now Chris finally came to it took us our time to all break up with Sundar.
Well, I get it. He's Indian. You guys are protecting your own.
Of course. We needed him to, keep
dude. At the end of the day, there's only one color that matters to me, bro, and that is green. All right. I can care less about black, the color of that.
White women.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
No, I mean, just from a business standpoint.
Having said that, the more people who become bearish, and I was thinking about, what do I do with Google? What do I do? The more people who become bearish and Google doesn't tank makes me actually turn bullish because after all the people who want to get rid of Google go away, it will go up.
To me, I look at this from the angle of, I think Google is still going to be a strong business. They have a significant amount of opportunity going forward for them, and they can really do well. I'm not saying that they're a bad investment. Okay. If you're looking for a safe, like S&P like return, I think Google is the one that you want to go with. Why? Because they'll probably perform the market. But if you want to, go over the market, bro, Google is not the innovative company that it used to be. So right now it's literally living off of its innovations from 10 years ago. And I didn't believe
he made a 180. Today's a 180.
I didn't believe Peter Thiel when him and Eric Schmidt were sitting there and just basically saying, that Google has basically gone from being an innovator to basically just, existing. I think right now you're seeing engineers leaving Google, right? The culture is being like, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about Google, but I just don't see it as the growth. I don't see it having the same growth prospects that it did in the past. And there are other companies out there that are better poised to capture the gains in AI than Google is at the moment.
Let's listen to this real quick, and then we'll let you talk. There's 1 minute, and then we'll talk.
The specific and the general. Google is a great company. It has 30,000 people. They have or 20,000, whatever the numbers. They have pretty safe jobs. On the other hand, Google also has 30, 40, 50 billion in cash. It has no idea how to invest that money in technology effectively. And so it prefers getting 0% interest from Mr. Bernanke. Effectively, the cash sort of gets burned away over time through inflation because there are no ideas that Google has on how to spend the money. So you have $50 billion at Google. Why don't you spend it on doing more in tech? Or are you out of ideas? And it's not, and I think Google does more than most companies. You're trying to do things with self-driving cars and supposedly with asteroid mining, although maybe that's just part of the propaganda industry. But you're doing more than Microsoft or Apple or a lot of these other companies. And the fact that you're out of ideas, maybe it's a political problem. The government's outlawed things, but it still is a problem.
He nailed him.
You have to
Did you actually listen to the podcast with Bill Gurley and Brad Gerstner?
Oh, we should play a little bit of that.
Because they went into the actual. They had a chart. I don't know if you do want to bring that up.
No, everyone should watch it. This is good. This is like a good 5 minutes of.
And they're talking about the interactivity with obviously ChatGPT type of thing. Why Google will go down, and obviously it is 10 times more expensive to deal with these LLMs and all that currently.
Yeah.
But Google has more to lose than anybody else because they basically own it. So everybody just wants to eat their lunch.
Yeah, they talk about, so we'll play this for a couple of minutes. They talk about the difference between retrieval of information versus inferencing. So Google retrieves information and then shows us a link clicks, but inferencing, which is basically LLM-based answers that are trained, that's where the world is going to, and that's why Google has only everything to lose.
By the way, guys, so before you do that, highly, highly encourage you guys to subscribe to this podcast. They give so many insights into Silicon Valley, and both of them are very successful VCs, but they also go into a lot of public market discussions around the tech companies that we also talk about. And one of the things that you're getting literally hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of crowdsourced information from two fucking greats. So I encourage you guys, when these guys post on a weekly basis, listen to it. It'll make you a better investor. Sorry,
dude. And real quick, before I show this, Elon's having his way with Google right now, dude. Elon,
can you read
he
it?
just doesn't care. He's just memeing. 20 seconds, he's memeing Google. Like, he's loving this shit right now, dude.
Well, he's using it for his own publicity, of course, to help XAI or whatever.
And it's going to work. It's probably going to work. It's definitely going to help for a little bit. All right, here we go.
Because you're already at 10 billion queries a day. So next, we took a crack at a chart that says how many of those queries are going to become Chat GPT-like queries, okay? And so the black line here is kind of the number of queries that are information retrieval queries on Google. And the blue line is the actual and the forecast by us for the Chat GPT-like equivalent queries that are going to occur. Now, where do we get that information? Well, first, we know a little something about the number of queries on Chat GPT, right? And we know that OpenAI and Google are working on these search integrated experiences. I think they call it SGE, where they're going to have answers like Perplexity in line with search. I think that Microsoft is now doing this with the rebranded Copilot. So a lot of the information retrieval searches are going to be replaced with these chat GPT-like searches. And this is where it starts to get interesting, because two things kick in, Bill. Number one, it costs a hell of a lot more, right, to provide answers than it did to provide 10 blue links. So if you say, like, what's it cost to provide 10 blue links? It's about a third of a penny or less per query. Now, what does it cost to do that for 750 tokens today? And of course, this will go down over time, but it's 10x more, right? It's 4 cents per query. And then if you look at the refinement of queries that's really going on, so a lot of times, Bill, what they do is they'll send back these 10 blue links, and then they'll use that as their prompt, right, to re-query the engine. This could be up to 50x more expensive to serve an answer, a high quality answer to the consumer versus 10 blue links. So your cost goes up a lot. Well, what about revenue? So I asked the question on the other side. Well, we know that revenue goes down. Why? Because I'm not clicking on all these ads on the page, right? And so revenue per search likely goes down. I think if you look at that in terms of what the gross margin is to Google, right? The cost of serving going up, the revenue coming down. I don't know, you may take a 95% margin today on a business where you have 99% share. Your share likely goes down over time because you have people like ChatGPT you have to compete with. But worse yet, your margin on each of those queries goes down over time. I don't know what it nets out at, 50%, 60%. Now, mind you, for Perplexity or Copilot or Meta, et cetera, that's a great business, a 50% margin business. Right. And, you know, it reminds me what we've all said so many times. Google's margin is their opportunity. So the problem for Google is they have to do this because their competitors are forcing them to do it, okay? But it definitely is going to be a lower margin business, and they're unlikely to have the 99% share. So everybody, you know, has texted and emailed me, yeah, but they've got YouTube and they've got Gmail and they've got Gemini 1.5 and they've got all this stuff. And I stipulate all of that is true, okay? But the business that today produces the vast majority of profits for the company.
What percent you think?
I mean, listen, I think that search and YouTube produce over 100% of the profits because they have a lot of money losing units in the business, but it's over 80% of the profits in the business. And so when you think about that, now listen, they've got great management. They can cut costs. There are lots of things they can do. I'm not saying this is going to occur overnight, but if you and I were talking with Clayton Christensen about the innovator's dilemma, and we were analyzing this business, this would really be case exhibit number one. Now, the irony.
All right, innovator's dilemma. Well, I mean, that's the problem. What does Google do when they have to spend 10 times more on providing you answers now? So that is obviously bad for their business. The question is, I think, why are they letting all these fucking startups like ChatGPT eat their lunch? I just don't understand it.
Or Perplexity.
They came up with this shit. That is their shit. Okay. So I don't understand why they're allowing this to happen. It feels like it's being allowed and not just an accident, because it seems like mismanagement. So Gerstner said that they have good management. I would say they don't.
Chris, Amazon over Google, is that the play right now?
That's what I did. I took Amazon. Easy. Generating cash flow. They're in harvest mode. Easily this thing blows up way beyond what it is today. So I shifted into Amazon and I bought
shares
some
or
Palo Alto
calls?
Networks, calls and shares of Amazon. I bought some Palo Alto Networks too. I think they got beaten up too much, and so there's a quick recovery play in that. But other than that, you know, it's really, really disheartening to see what's going on with Google, man. Like that whole thing.
What are you down in terms of, I mean, sold off? That's what I mean. What have you sold off? 80%?
Well, Google went from my number 1 position to like number 7 right now. So you know,
that's a big drop.
But some of that, but the problem, well, to be honest, some of it's because Celsius, bro. Celsius is absolutely fucking killing it. Like it's just a meteoric rise of Celsius in my portfolio. They went from number 5 to number 1, and that's without any additions at all of capital. I mean, but then again, I'm levered up like crazy with options, but it's, you know, it's a good play right now.
I didn't want to bring that up.
Yeah.
Let me cover my ears. Mom and Dad are talking about options.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the big question. Do LLMs in the next 5 years legitimately ruin that search business? And when I mean ruin, I mean instead of doing 48 billion a year, they're doing 38 billion a year, which at that point Google's dead, because if you're not growing the search business, you're dead.
So here's a unique bias that I may have that makes me a little bit leery of Google. Okay, so when the iPhone came out, you know, everyone thinks iPhone is what really set the smartphones up for greatness, right? And that's not the case. It was actually BlackBerry. BlackBerry was the one that really started the smartphone revolution, but Apple came in and revolutionized the space, and they really did a number. And BlackBerry always was just trying to play catch up. Their products would be released later on. They wouldn't be as good. The ecosystem never really developed really well around BlackBerry stuff. And I held BlackBerry for the longest time, even when they flipped the CEO from their co-CEOs, Mike Lazardis and I forgot the other guy's name, to Chen. They brought Chen from SAP. I was like, yeah, I'm going to give this some time. This is going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. And I see the same thing with Google, in that where Google right now is losing the race, and they're not doing anything, in my opinion, to really catch up. I still think they're a great business. Okay. And I think that they're going to perform like the market is performing right now. But if you're looking for that additional growth, or if you want to give that growth premium, Google is not where you want to give that money. That's not where you want to put your capital anywhere, you know. And they do have other businesses that, by the way, that are still growing, so don't get me wrong on that. It's just, I think Google is in for a lot slower growth going into the future, and it's the value play here is that Google still generates so much free cash flow that they can buy back a fuck ton of their shares, you know. So I don't know.
It's another PayPal play now.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of these PayPal plays.
Aren't you in PayPal too?
This is what I'm saying. We're all waiting for this buyback.
Hey, the funny thing is,
when is this buyback coming? What's taking them?
They're probably doing it, and it's not helping, dude. That stock doesn't move every day. I'm seeing the market go to the fucking move. That stock's stuck at 57. Like, it's tough.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think Google, though. I mean, the more bearish people get, once again, and you feel, at least on Twitter. I don't know if in real life. I don't think my wife cares about. She's still using Google. She's not talking about the LLMs. So reality might be that the investment public gets a distaste for this, obviously, and they do something about it eventually. So they do have a turnaround, right? That is going to happen. And I would think that happens at some point. Obviously, maybe that's hopeful optimism, but basically saying the more people who are bearish on it actually makes me more bullish on it. So it's a tough call, because everything you said was true too. You know what I mean?
Reddit is okay. Well, let's move on to this. Reddit is going public, and this kind of intertwines with Google. They're paying
SolarEdge.
They're paying Google $60 million to index their content. Or sorry, Google's paying them $60 million, which I think is pretty cheap for Google. That's pennies, but Reddit makes some money. Here's the question. These are the top line stats from the S1 that came out today. Would you invest in Reddit? 900 million in revenue, 800 million in revenue, 90 million loss in 2023. So they're not profitable, but they're close. Would you invest in Reddit?
What is their valuation?
I think it's going to be somewhere like 7 to 8 billion, something like that.
I doubt it. It's going to be higher than that. Come on.
I mean, the 2021, the round was.
You're saying the revenue is 800 million? I'm sorry, you said what? The revenue is what?
Yes, revenue is 800 million. Yeah.
And you're saying they're going for 7 billion? Unlikely. It's probably going to be super expensive when it comes out.
Dude, somewhere I think they said 25 billion, but I don't think that's correct when I was digging through this thing. Okay, so let's say it's 20 billion. Let's be reasonable. 20 billion. Would you invest in Reddit?
I'm just not interested. Even if it does well, I'm just not interested.
Why? It's Reddit. Everyone uses Reddit.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I'm sure there is a moat for Reddit. There is a tiny moat of 4chan people who want to be on it. So I'm just.
I agree with you, dude. If you use Reddit every day, you're probably on 4chan.
I've used Reddit before, and honestly, there's very little value for me to use Reddit. So it's like buying Snapchat for me. I'm just not.
Dude, if you go on Reddit every day, I low-key feel like you're an incel. I'm sorry if I offended anyone in the chat, but I kind of think that if you are spending your time going through these anonymous fucking posts, I think you're an
I go
incel,
through
dude.
Reddit. I go through Reddit.
Well,
Don't,
there you
don't
go.
do
It
that.
answers that
But every
question.
single day, you're going through sub communities of these rabbit holes. on
No,
Reddit.
not
That
all of them, but if I want to gauge like a certain very niche topic, there are a lot
that's
of great
different.
Redditors
That's
on
different.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that too. But there are people that are spending 10 hours of their day, like we're on Twitter all day. You know, they're spending that time on Reddit. At least we're interacting with other people.
So here, I'm glad you brought up Twitter. I don't want to invest in Twitter. Right? I feel like Reddit is very similar to that kind of business. I'm just not interested in that. And I'm already in something that is a monopoly. It's called Meta. They own all this shit. So why do I need these little guys?
Okay. I wouldn't invest in these guys either, Justin. I admit half your audience thought you were an incel. The thing is, okay, so here's another question. Do you think Wall Street Bets is gonna have some fun?
Aren't you? Your girlment is virtual. So are you?
Okay,
aren't you
Hold on
technically
a
an
second.
incel?
Can you share my screen? Oh, who's this on Reddit? It's AMIT Kukureja. What's going on, AMIT?
Okay, hold on. No. Understand why this happened, dude. I'm so happy you brought this up. This was on a Palantir. No, go up.
Someone
Someone
make
said
it
something
large. It's hard to see. Make it bigger.
Someone said some shit about Palantir. Someone posted my video. So look at this person says, Amit, stop posting videos and likes. I would like one effing place without YouTube scammers. This was 2 years ago. I said, guys, I have never posted a single video on this Reddit board for my channel. I don't post my content here. It's all other people. I'm sorry if it seems like it's a lot, but I promise you it's not me. The reason I said that, and the reason I never post my shit on the
downvoted
Reddit,
you.
you downvoted me.
Hold on, look at this. Dude, this guy's famous, bro. AMIT Kukureja makes a strong point.
Dude, people are toxic on this platform, dude. Like all these comments are probably gonna say some nonsense. Like it's like, yeah, you get some toxicity on Twitter and YouTube, but it's not like Reddit.
Well, no. Okay, first of all, Reddit has good stuff on. You can search for like useful, like engineering, computer science. I've used that there is helpful things there.
Yeah, and some people are giving you credit, bro. Look at this guy. Full credit to AMIT for asking the right questions. There you go.
Yeah,
so
but dude, a lot of people on Reddit are first of all, I think the majority of Reddit is porn. There's just a lot of adult sections.
Can you send me a link? I haven't seen that section yet.
It's kind of like Twitter. There's actually a lot of that there.
Oh yeah, Twitter has full porno. That's true.
Second of all, I think the people that are there going through all these subreddits, responding to all these random people, they're not building a brand. Like on Twitter, we're trying to build like a brand and followers and all that stuff and have some influence and like make real discussions happen. On Reddit, there's just people going back and forth, like hating each other if they disagree on an opinion, calling each other the worst things. It's like stock twits. Like people just say
it's a better 4chan. That's what it is.
Yes, it's a more regulated 4chan.
This doesn't seem bad. AMIT Super Bowl does give compelling argument. I mean, most of these people seem to be agreeing with you, dude.
Yeah, but you're looking at some
they got 10
posts.
upvotes. No, I mean, I searched for like 5, and you know, you got some really good ones. So
okay, my point is the far majority of Reddit is ridiculously toxic. Like,
all right, let's see what the latest one is. Just this is fun. This is fun for me. So let's this past year, right? So new competitor. 420.
Yeah, see, I did a Substack on that. I did a video on that, and I've never posted this thing. Someone else posted this for me.
Well, it does show that there's 54,000 crazy people out there.
Yeah.
In a Palantir chat.
Listen, at least there's not a Discord with Palantir bulls who fucking hate my guts. Like, dude, they hate me like there is no tomorrow. I'll sneak in there once in a while just to see what kind of stuff that they're saying. And bro, it is bad, bro. It is bad.
Okay, but hold on, Chris. On Reddit, would you buy their stock if they went public?
Fuck no. Fuck no.
Okay, you're defending this platform like you fucking like. Why wouldn't you buy the stock then?
Well, I don't see the monetary. I don't know how they're going to monetize outside of maybe using some of the LLM features. But if you notice something about Google,
ads,
man.
Ads,
maybe ads. Maybe.
What do you mean maybe? They did 800 million in revenue on ads. Now, I don't know who clicks on those fucking ads. They did 800 million in revenue. They lost 90 million. So, I mean, they're probably profitable in like a year or two. That's actually really bad that they lost 90 million on 800 million in revenue. Their ad business, like that shouldn't be happening.
I mean, once again, why do they have this many engineers? What are they doing? I mean, shit posting does not take this many engineers. This is one thing Elon is showing people. You don't need this many people to do a social media site.
Dude, that was really important. Twitter, what Elon got rid of, what, 85% of the people at Twitter, and the service is better. It's running better. You know,
it has more features, in fact, now. So
yeah, there's an edit button. You know, people can get paid. People can get paid on Twitter. Like that's, I mean,
no, but I'm saying 85% of those people were not adding any value. That's what
they're not doing anything. No.
Yeah, they're getting coffee. They're getting lunch.
Okay, can we talk about this? Nvidia's 800 after hours. So is the market just going to keep taking them higher and higher?
800 already? It actually went to the side.
On Robinhood, they're 800. It says 798, but they're basically 800.
That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, we talked about it
SMCI is
yesterday.
back to
It's gonna keep going
1,000.
up.
SMCI is back there.
SMCI is going to keep going up as long as this guy keeps going up.
Now, here's my question. Is this isolated from the market, Chris, or you think the market's going to rally? Like Shopify's up today because NVIDIA, there's no real correlation, right? But the whole market's just up.
I mean, everything's green. I think SolarEdge was up a quarter.
Really? I didn't see them.
I actually don't know.
There could be a play.
Google was up 1%.
There could be a play, and I've been thinking about it for the last couple of days. Basically, it's go long NVIDIA and short SMCI. The reason why I say that is because if NVIDIA does pull back, they won't pull back nearly as much, and SMCI will get absolutely crushed. But if both of them are going up at the same time, NVIDIA will still be fine. SMCI will still be fine. So your short position in SMCI will your long in NVIDIA will outweigh your short in SMCI. SMCI to me is clearly the bubble. They're the low margin business that everyone is giving a crap ton of additional valuation to. NVIDIA at least is a valuable company that's generating tangible benefits and cash and everything else. So, if you wanted to do the long and only thing, but the problem is I don't know what the borrowing costs on SMCI are. So, the shares could be rather expensive to borrow. So
ticker symbol U, Alex, he did a video on SMCI. I didn't see the whole video, but wasn't it bullish on SMCI?
He was bullish. I think I got to the end of it and he was pretty bullish on SMCI. He said,
was he buying SMCI at this point?
He didn't officially say he was buying. He just said it's going to keep growing, and he recommends if you were interested to DCA. Yeah, that's what he said. He said to DCA into SMCI.
Look, I love Alex. But dude, he's also the guy who made 150 videos about ARC Innovation taking over NASDAQ. You know what I mean? So sorry, Alex. I think you're wrong on SMCI. It's a low margin hardware business. It's not anything unique.
We should have him on. Maybe he can explain what is his, explain to us.
Yeah, maybe that'd be a good idea. Okay, he's been very bullish on this whole semi space since 2022 because in 2021 ARC collapsed, so he kind of pivoted.
He did go to NVIDIA and he's making bank. Yeah.
All right. So what else do we have? Oh, this company. So we landed on Mars. Have you guys heard of this shit? Lunar Intuitive Machines landed.
You mean on the moon? They landed on the moon?
Sorry.
They landed on Mars. This is what happens when you're on YouTube all day. You don't know facts about the world.
This is I want to see
like, I saw a video. I saw a Sora video. I could swear it's real. Guys, we're on Mars.
I can't believe I said Mars, dude. What am I saying? Yeah,
right,
they
so landed on the moon. And okay, what are they? All right.
They landed on the moon.
Enabled under NASA's CLIPS initiative. Ahead of these important indicate that we are working to solve a possible monitor as waited until there was absolute.
Yeah, they landed on the moon. That's it. The stock's up 300%.
Is there video of the moon?
I don't know.
Old video?
Is this the video of the moon?
There you go. They landed a lander.
Okay, the point is the stock's up 300% year to date. The company's called Lunar. I think the retail people got ahead of this because they're literally on the moon.
Stay away from space stocks, people.
Any thoughts? Oh, now it's up 37% after hours, so it's up 400% year to date. This is what makes me feel like we're at a top, dude. This shit is only happening when we where is all this liquidity coming from?
These are bad signs. I agree.
These are very bad signs, dude. This doesn't look good. Like it shouldn't be this easy.
You know what? I say the bad signs start when PayPal goes up. That's the official bad sign.
Oh my god, dude. Okay. Do you still have your Square, Vitaly?
I do. Yeah, I haven't sold out.
Okay. Did you see the earnings?
I heard they were up. They did well today, right? I don't pay attention, honestly, to every quarter of Square. It's basically I have forgotten about my shares, and they're just sitting there, and we'll see what happens in a decade. I'm not paying attention to. I'm not going to waste my time with Jack Dorsey and his calls anymore.
So
But tell me what happened.
I listened to the call. I think Jack Dorsey actually had a really good call, and he answered all the questions really well. And they're growing way faster than PayPal. They did 250 million in buybacks. Now the stock-based compensation is kind of insane, but besides that,
did he explain that? Did he explain why?
No one asked the question about that. I guess the analyst didn't care. But Bitcoin is up for them. Crypto-related transactions is up. Cash App's growing like a beast. They're consolidating all the point of service applications. And so
how's Tidal doing? How much is Tidal making?
Oh, they wrote off Tidal. They
it's
officially
gone.
wrote it
That's
off.
it.
It's gone. I
Thank
mean, they'll
God.
probably still use it, but they wrote it off as like an investment on the company.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, we don't give a shit anymore about Tidal. But
so it's one of those things I'm ignoring, at least, because like if this, it's still a good business, by the way. You know what he did was very impressive. And when I walk into stores, they use the cash terminals and all that. So it is being used out in the world. That's why I'm keeping it. Cash App is used. I have tenants who pay me through Cash App besides Venmo, mostly Venmo though, by the way. So I'm saying it's still used and I still see it. So it is a player and I want to be just a small part of that if something happens.
Okay, and you don't care at all about Dorsey anymore as a CEO. Like he's not enough.
I don't like him. No, I don't like him too. I wish he was replaced as well. I think he's a good business. He starts businesses really well and he understands the initial market, how to grow, but then he just doesn't know how to operate the rest of it. And look, that's hard, obviously. To have someone like Elon or someone like Jobs is nearly impossible to have like over and over, but he should not be CEO as well. Him and Sundar can go on vacation for a bit.
I wonder what they would talk about on vacation. Chris, what are you about to say? You're muted.
It's brilliant, Chris.
That's great. Phenomenal. TFC. I love it. I love TFC. Great.
Someone, I don't know. I just saw this pop up on my Discord. So someone now, the racists are actually using Gemini to create racist shit.
Shit.
And it's like reverse racism, but you got to see it. Hold on one second. Let me share it. I can't believe it. Look at this. So they put here's a depiction of a sentient British king eating watermelon.
This is the problem with Google, dude.
A British king. Just honestly, was there ever a black British king? Like, right? It never existed. Why are they even showing it?
Dude, Google is, and I
Their
think Google
algorithm
this is the worst PR you could ever imagine if you're Google right now.
Black
Like it's AI on steroids, and I don't know why they even allowed pictures.
Oh,
why would you like ChatGPT doesn't allow you to just make pictures? Like
I just posted it on Twitter, bro. I'm gonna get canceled. I'm gonna get canceled. By the way, I did not prompt that. Okay, someone did, and I just saw the message.
It is your Discord, so you are responsible. Just FYI.
Yeah, you are responsible. Elon is officially in troll mode. He has gone. This is what he's
you know, the more Elon is on Twitter,
up.
the more Elon is on Twitter, honestly. I thought he was supposed to be working every day and night on SpaceX and Tesla. I don't know. He's shitting way too much these days and posting way too much. I wish he commented.
I can't fucking stop laughing at this goddamn thing.
This is why you have to sell out of Google. Okay, Chris, tell me about this shit. Tell me about this AT&T Verizon thing that happened today. What happened here, and what does this have to do with the broader cybersecurity landscape? So AT&T cellular service restored after day-long outage, cause still unknown.
It could be a multitude of things. There could be in my opinion, it's probably a cyber attack, like DDoS attack, likely, but I don't know without the pure facts on it. But basically, multiple networks in the United States, T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, they all got hit. And basically, there were cell phone outages throughout. The part that worries me a little bit about this, usually during election cycles, you see a ramp up in cyber attacks. If you type in change healthcare in your search, they got hit by a cyber attack, and they're actually one of our subcontractors. So, yeah, there you go. See, so it's not just, oh my God, this is like a one industry thing. It's getting hit all over. It just goes to show that endpoint security is going to be a really, really major thing to look at. So you have to look at companies that
CrowdStrike
provide
this
all
is good for
these sources.
CrowdStrike.
CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks, Zscaler, SentinelOne. I mean, bro, endpoint security is going to become bigger and bigger, in my opinion, as a market. And then if you look on top of it, AI can do so much more crazy things now. So if you integrate a lot of these attacks and put AI into it, it could be bad. My wife is telling me, she just messaged me, it was a solar flare that caused this outage. Okay,
That sounds like BS.
whatever.
That sounds like BS.
Fortinet.
That's like the government. It's a weather balloon.
I'm sorry.
Men are so
forgot to mention
skeptical,
Fortinet.
dude. We're so
Yeah.
skeptical of institutions. Like Chris's wife is like, "Oh, it was the weather." We're like, "No,
No,
fuck
it's
that.
a
It wasn't
solar
the
flare
weather."
over only Washington D.C.
Yeah. So someone said, Chris, did you get an email from the hospital? No, but I work in the sector, so I ended up getting an alert by my supervisor saying, "Hey, listen, this system is down, so if there's any questions, let me know, because we have to go in backup mode." So luckily for us, we have a lot of our infrastructure still on-prem, so we were not impacted nearly as much. But just like I said, it goes to show, man, there's a lot of problems when it comes to this stuff.
So cybersecurity, is that something I know you're looking at Palo Alto right now, but did you ever think about that industry, or are you starting to think about it more deeply?
No, it was always in the back of my brain, like cybersecurity, especially CrowdStrike, because I think we spoke about CrowdStrike on this a while ago. Remember how they're very efficient? They're running in the background. You don't even notice it. Unlike back in the day when you had all these antivirus programs, basically they were like giant pieces of bloatware that were running and slowing your computer down.
Like Norton was the biggest one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of my hospital's computers and everything, we all have CrowdStrike, and it's like barely any resources get committed to it, but yet it's fucking effective like crazy. So it's such a great platform. Whenever it has threat detection, it automatically does all the definitions. I'm telling you, it's a great business. Great business. Yeah.
It's up almost 3x, 2.5x this year. It's
Yeah.
basically gone vertical in the last 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was interesting, because I don't think Palo Alto deserved to be down 30% either. I didn't go through all their numbers, but I mean, it doesn't feel like cybersecurity demand is going away.
Well, you know what happened in the earnings call? Nikesh Arora, their CEO, said, look, we're starting to see IT departments having spending fatigue, because you remember, this is a cost, right? It's a cost that companies have to bear, basically. And I think I was talking to Steve about this, because if you don't have proper cybersecurity, companies won't even insure you. So the insurance companies are usually the ones that are pushing heavily for you to keep investing in your cybersecurity infrastructure, making sure that you have personnel, you have staff, and you have software that keeps doing what they're doing in order to keep your network safe. Because I mean, you think about, especially for a hospital system, if patient information gets out, bro, that's millions upon millions of dollars that go out the door. So you have to be very careful with that. So, yep, Falcon. That's what it's called. CrowdStrike Falcon.
Okay, what do you think about this? We can end on this topic. Mortgage rates are back to 7.36, the highest since December 1st. We have the lowest amount of houses in the United States since April 2020 in supply, even though this month's number were up 3% month over month, but still the lowest since basically 4 years ago. Is there a bit of a housing crisis that we're having right now? Or if there's not a housing crisis, should we be looking at companies like lunr that are housing construction companies that might get a lot of demand because we need to build more supply?
Wait a second. Sorry, I was reading the comments.
What do we do with the housing crisis? Mortgage rates 7.43. What does this mean?
Build more homes. I mean, they need to take out this perverse incentive for Wall Street to gobble up houses and get people back in the door again. So, in my opinion, this is something that legislatively they have to take some ownership of, and say, look, we need to make it cost prohibitive for Wall Street to get in and speculate on single family housing. That's number one. And number two, make it so that the builders have an incentive to build more homes. Like, if you want lennar, you want DR Horton, you want these guys to make more money, have a tax holiday on profits for the housing industry. Watch the fucking boom happen, you know?
Meaning,
you don't need
don't tax these companies is what you're saying.
What I'm saying is give them a tax break, tax break on new home construction. So you can't use old homes, you just new home construction. Boom. Watch how crazy the amount of building happens, you know? So there you go. The problems, I wouldn't call it problem solve. I'm sure that it'll invite more problems later in the future because that's how legislation works, you know. But I think there has to be incentive for more housing to be built, and at the same time, the existing housing cannot be monopolized by Wall Street, where they take over swaths of real estate or they build communities that are specifically made for the rental market instead of the ownership, you know, the home, instead of for like people to actually buy homes, you know. Also incentivize people to buy homes that can afford them, but at the same time discourage people like VITALY from buying up everything and then turning it into rentals and using it as a side income.
Shit,
You know?
I wish I could do that for every house.
Go ahead.
One thing you're forgetting, yes, we should be building more houses, but the problem is there is no appetite by the people who are in the current houses for new houses in their neighborhood. Those people end up going to their local governments and petitioning them, say, we don't want new housing. We don't want these big skyscrapers. We don't want 5 families. So I know I bought in neighborhoods like that. We don't want those things. All right.
Yeah.
So that's very hard to change. Like, I don't know. There's no simple solution. You can't just incentivize building when they're not allowed to build certain properties to get more people into those areas, you know?
It's funny. I spoke to one of my, I spoke to a friend who buys homes in California, and I said, aren't you afraid of people leaving? Like, you know, aren't you afraid that the housing market's going to crash? And he said something very, very, very brilliant. He said, there is no appetite for people to build more housing. So the people who are already here just keep living on what they have, and that's it. So California's biggest problem when it comes to housing is a shortage of housing, not because they're not doing anything, but they just can't build any. Like there's so many statutes and everything else, and like the local community that push back against it. So, you know, I don't know. The other thing is people should be fucking moving too, man. I think too many people are like, oh, I need to live in New York City, and I want to live the poor. Bro, if you make minimum wage, you should not be fucking living in New York City. Your ass should be moving somewhere where there's better opportunities. All right. If you're making even middle income, like if you're not making, I would say $100,000 in New York City or LA, you're basically, and you don't own your own property, you're basically condemning yourself to indentured servitude. You might as well just move out to get out of this bullshit that's there.
I'm glad you brought this up. So I talked to I'm in the film industry. I talked to a lot of, assistant camera people, art department, whatever, all these people who are basically day workers and go job to job, right? A lot of them live in Brooklyn, even Manhattan, some of them in like 4 or 5 bedrooms where they share, obviously. And I'm like, why don't you just go to Jersey City? It's cheaper. You'll save half the amount of money. They're like, Jersey. I mean, they do not want to leave the lifestyle behind, even though they're getting screwed in terms of like the amount of rent they pay and everything and the lifestyle that they're paying for. I'm like, you guys will never be free. And it's just not a priority. So no matter what you say, it's just not a priority for them.
You'll pay the highest state income taxes. You'll pay a fucking city tax. I mean, imagine that. The other localities don't have a
New York. What's the city tax?
It's like 2 to 3%.
Wow.
So you're not only getting taxed by the federal government, but you're getting taxed by the state, which is some of the highest. And then on top of it, you're getting charged taxes on your personal income. I mean, it's crazy. I'm glad. One of the best things I did in my life was move out of New York City, dude. I love New York. I grew up there. I can say all the time, like, hey, New York is great for this. But dude, even me and the wife now, she after our last foray, foray into the city, even she's like, yeah, I don't think I could raise my family here. I don't know why so many people stick it out in New York City, to be honest.
What if you were like a multi-millionaire? You had a high rise overlooking Central Park. Like, you don't think that would be a cool experience?
But we're not talking about those people for the most. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the regular folks who are 9-to-5ers or have to work month to month for their paycheck. They have no desire to leave. I know that's the smart thing, and I've spoken to a lot of them, and they have no desire to leave.
Okay. It's funny. I was watching this one video of this young millennial girl. She was like, I work 40 hours a week and I have a second job, blah, blah, blah. And then you see where she lives. And it's like, oh yeah, you live in a major city here. You could just work minimum wage in other part of the country and you would still be way more well off. You could actually build some equity in a home. You could actually raise some kids.
That's a good point. Why would you go minimum wage in the most expensive places in the world, or like middle wage, right? It doesn't make sense to make $50,000 a year and live in San Francisco. I mean,
exactly.
Nope.
Now, what do you think that means for shelter inflation, though? Because if we don't have houses, this whole thing about inflation falling off a cliff, I don't know if it's falling off a cliff anytime soon.
I think there's plenty of houses. Okay. Let me just rephrase. I think there's plenty of houses, just not in the locations that people want to live in.
All in
That's
Ohio.
the problem. You want to move to Cleveland, Ohio, you want to move to Illinois, I'm sure you can find a job there. And people really need to stop looking down on some of the Midwestern states like, oh, these are just flyover states. No one wants to live here. No one wants to do anything here. Bro, that's middle America. Go where the opportunities are, and the opportunities that are not in California and New York right now. So just do with that what you will.
I've never been to Ohio. I don't know if I could live in Ohio. I mean, Dave Chappelle figured out how to live in Ohio, but I like Jersey, dude. Jersey's fun. I mean, Jersey's like a train ride away from New York, so I don't know why people hate Jersey.
Enjoy your stupid tolls on GCP.
Well, the thing is, like, if you have friends in New York, you're never going to see them.
No, I'm going to see one of my boys in.
No,
in New York
you have to go see him.
Oh,
he's never coming to you.
Yeah, he's not coming to fucking Bumbleware, New Jersey. Yeah, he's not coming there.
But no, but I mean, I was just like, it's literally right over the bridge, right? Just literally, Jersey City is like a hop and a skip. It's really close.
It's very.
It's
close,
still there's a mental block. They don't want to go. And someone did mention Jersey does have high taxes. That is true, but the amount of house you get, and then the schools as well are so much better. Yeah. It's worth paying those taxes, honestly.
Yeah.
If you have a family and you're doing all that, of course.
Someone said, if that's where you lived your whole life, it's not as simple as pack your shit and leave. I agree. It's not easy, but it wasn't easy for a lot of people to leave their countries and come to the United States.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But that's what you have to do. You go where the opportunities are. Sorry, if you're not finding opportunity in your area right now, you should highly consider changing that up. I mean, why would you relegate yourself to mediocrity in a place just so you can say, well, you know what, I have all my friends here? No, I mean, dude, at the end of the day, my main priority is taking care of my family, not going to hang out with my boys for a couple of hours on a Friday night. Like, if I see more opportunity in other parts of the country where I can actually build equity in my home and build a savings, because in the future, that's what's really going to matter. Same thing with a good school district. You want all these things. Sometimes you got to leave what's comfortable and go into the unknown. That's what America's built on, man. The fucking unknown.
Yeah, Jersey is the unknown.
I mean, that's what all our parents did, right? They all
came from... obviously, yeah. Get out. I would say if you grew up in one of these expensive ass parts of the country, get out, man. The country's so beautiful, it's vast. There's so many opportunities if you're willing to put in the work, and yeah, you don't have to live in a major city. There's a lot of opportunities outside of New York, LA, and even now Texas and Florida are starting to get kind of expensive too. So, if you're a young person, you are trying to develop yourself, develop a career, I'd say
dude, it's so interesting you say this, because I was born in Jersey and my whole life I've lived on the coast. I don't know what it means to live in like a suburb in Nevada, or like a in Wisconsin or something. Like I don't know what that feels like. I can't even conceptualize it right now as you're saying it. But it is a big country, right?
Let me tell you, the best places that I ever lived. I was in the Army, so I actually had to move around quite a bit for a while. San Antonio was one of the best places ever. And then I got stationed in Silver Springs, Maryland, which was amazing. Like, I love Silver Springs. The few parts that you don't want to go is some parts of northern Georgia. and other parts like Fort Polk, Louisiana. Like that's terrible. That's like the one place I'll never fucking move to, Louisiana. But Louisiana is nice too. But there are so many places. I encourage you, Amit, to go travel the country, man. I think everyone should. While you can do your podcast from anywhere around the country,
Take it on the road,
maybe
man.
that's what you should do.
Dude, that is a thing. Like my mom tells me to do this as well because she wants me to get out of the house more. But like I could literally go book an Airbnb at some random state, and for like Friday through Sunday or whatever, we could do the show from there, and I could go explore. I've never done that on my own. Just like
do it for a year. Why not? It could be something. You know, the wandering.
Yeah, he'll be dead in a week.
Wait, why? Why do you think I can't survive on my own?
I don't think you can survive
Alabama
without your mama taking care of you. All right,
dude. It's funny, dude. My mom doesn't do anything, dude. She like
who does? Wait, who does the laundry?
I do the laundry, dude. She taught me to do laundry when I was in fucking second grade. Like my mom
Right.
sees me during the day, maybe, and she's like, "You don't talk to me anymore." I'm like, "Cause I'm fucking streaming 17 hours." Like she doesn't even know what I'm doing all day. So she doesn't make me dinner. I make my own dinner. Like she doesn't do, really anything. I do more for her, to be honest. But it would be fun.
Get yourself an RV, a Starlink, and just set up your studio and just fucking go. Just go, dude. You know how many? My wife right now, she's trying to look for a remote job so we could do just that. Because I work remote. She works like right now. She physically has to go into the hospital, but if she gets this one job that's like for analytics, bro, she'll be working from home remote. I'll just get a van, put a Starlink on that bitch. So go see America, man.
It's a good idea, dude. I've like never seen America. I've traveled to a decent amount of states. I'm gonna go to New Orleans because I have a bachelor party there from one of my guys. But I've been to Louisiana, I've been to Chicago, I've been to Nevada, I've been to Utah, been to California a bunch of times. But I've never been to like Arkansas or Alabama. I've never like Ohio.
One place that'll shock you: Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville, Alabama is actually one of the areas that has the highest number of, I think, PhDs in the entire country. And I think NASA has something there. And it would shock you the amount of talent there is around the country. Like another Silicon Valley, like is Greensboro, North Carolina. They have like a burgeoning tech scene there, Have you ever heard of El Segundo in California? Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
El Segundo is where there's so much development around new military and hardware applications. That's like they're bringing a lot of Silicon Valley culture to El Segundo in California, which is it's like a little part in LA, and not a lot of people talk about it. But it could be the next Silicon Valley, in defense tech.
Yeah, I never thought about just traveling. Like go to Montana and the mountains and just chill out there. Like that would make it for a good channel concept. It's not original, but like traveling across America and vlogging. I mean, I don't know if I could do that, but it's not a horrible idea.
Yeah.
All right,
guys.
I think we're done for the week. This was fun. We'll see if the market holds up, and yeah, we'll be back on Monday. We'll see if NVIDIA can keep the market going. Peace. All right, thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Good night. Have a good one.
Later, guys. Take care.
Bye.